Hi, welcome, Joe here over at woollycottage.com. Hope you're all okay. I thought I would do a bit of a nattering while I'm blending up some small bats today. There we go, so I'm just weighed out a load of wool. One sec, bear with me, I've got a trapped nerve in my shoulder, so I'm not doing brilliantly, but I was intending to do some spinning today, but that's been kibosh, that won't be happening at all. Oh, you realise what parts of your body you actually use more often. More like stretching outwards, it's pulling forwards, it's stretching inwards, that's killing me. Oh, there we go. No idea. Hiya, Brady. I've no idea how I did it or what I've done to myself. It was yesterday, I was getting out of the car, we'd gone over to see my father-in-law in hospital because he got admitted the other day. And we got out of the car, I was like, oh my Lord, I can't move my arm. So I've got some really pretty fibres. I've been mooching through my little stash box. I've got a box over there that has all my odds and sods in it from blending over the years. That there's never enough to make something of it, but if you put it together with something else, you can get some nice stuff. So I've got a right old collection right here, and I'm gonna make come on, break for me. I'm gonna make some woolen bats. Yes, Joe. It's right, so general rule is that if you want to spin woolen wool, use Rolex. If you want to spin worsted wool, then make some bats or use rovings, that sort of thing. I'm going to do a video on it next week because I can't do a spinning video for next week and back to basics. So I'm going to talk about different terminologies for different types of wools for people that don't know, because I was asked the other day to do it. So I thought, well, it's something I haven't really covered. I covered it in loads of different videos, but never collectively as one. So anyway, I did do a video a couple of years ago, and it is in there. I'll see if I can find the link and I'll put it in the descriptions after this live chat to the actual video. And I still got the wool somewhere in one of my boxes, and it's where I prepped 2 bats, exact same fibres, exactly the same amount and everything, but it was the way that I put the fibres onto the drum carder that made the different spins. Hiya, Alison. Made the 2 bats spin up completely different. One had a woolen feel to it, and it was more airy and had a bit more structure to it, and the way it looked and even the way it spun felt different. The way it looked after it was washed looked different. It bloomed out a lot more than the other one. And just by doing something so simple that you wouldn't think about it. So you've got to think of it and dissect down a rolag. When you're making rolags, you don't realise the whole point of them, and this is why they've always been used as woolen spin items. Even though you're blending them down your blending board in a down top to bottom way, and you're rolling them up from bottom to top, when you're spinning them, the fibres are crisscrossing against each other. You've got some going up, you've got some going crisscross, you've got some coming back out, bend and come back on themselves. Well, think of the exact same sort of scenario on the blending, but on the drum carder. To be able to get that, you can't class it as a proper woolen spin, but if you have a little try yourself at home, if you get 100 grams of fibre, split them equally, so you've got 50-50, okay? And then blend 1/2 of your collection of different fibres exactly how you would normally do it on your drum carder. Put that to one side, or go off and spin it, then come back with the other half of your fibres and blend it in this way that I'm going to show you now, okay? Bear with me. Oh, crikey. Right. I can't extend out the screen, so bear with me. So I've got a load of wools, and I've got some hand-dyed South American top here as well. So I just want to just quickly split this into 3. So I'm just making up while I'm up here, a little batch. I've been just making some row counters, and I've got some stitch markers I want to get done as well, just to keep myself still. I've got I'm hoping that my shoulder feels a bit better tomorrow because it's Dye Pot Thursday tomorrow. I've got to get my wills dyed up. Otherwise there'll be nothing for next week. All you'll have is a couple of yarn bowls and some spindles and some niddy noddies and some stitch markers. Right, oh, so I'll just plonk that to one side. I'm going to use my grey here. It looks lighter on the picture, but it's not. It's like a dark slate grey. So I'm just going to get this on here. Right, so I've got my other fibres here. So I've got some grey merino, I've got some hand dyed tissue silk, I have got some tweedy viscose, ever such delicate viscose in there, some Corriedale, some multicoloured grey tonal monochrome merino. I think that's some humbug that I found. I've got some merino with stellina in there, or trilobal actually. A little bit of Corriedale and a little bit more Corriedale. So you can see where I'm going with this. Right, so that half's on there now, and what I'm going to do is put on my greys. I've got a lot of it. And I'm just going to blend these on as I would normally. And I've got a little bit of this silvery grey here. I'm going to put that across this way. Then I'm going to go in with my dyed tissue silk. Put that on. Now already, just by wisping this on, I'm not putting it so the fibres going up and down. I'm going to start creating my woolen effect on my art back. Okay, so I've done that already, but what I need to do next is get is this one here. And now instead of me putting it on that way where the stripes are going up and down, I want to, on purpose, put my fibres so they're coming this way across. I'm just going to stretch them out because what I want to do is create a crisscross to help trap in the air when I'm blending. I mean, it automatically wants to try and straighten them out, but it's only going to get rubbed through once. I'm not drum carding it twice to get even finer alignment. I'm just doing this to help trap in the air, to help create that airiness and the bounce and the fibres crisscrossing on the back, so that when I'm spinning it, I end up with a bulkier yarn or a woolen fibre. Okay, so you can, I don't know if you can make, yeah you can make it out that the fibres are going across there. See, they're not going straight up and down, so that'll help create a bit more air. And I'm going to do that a couple of times with different fibres that I've got. And I'm going to do it with this tweedy viscose as well. So I'm just going to spread that out across there, and it's all going in that direction. Okay, now I'm going to split this in half, and I'm going to get my blues on here. Oh, my tealy colours, I should say. I think teal and grey is really pretty together. There we go. And I might make a larger one of these for next week for on the shop, but the smaller ones I'm keeping to one side. Okay. Then I'm going to come back in, but with this merino. And again, I'm going to stretch out lengthways so the fibres are running across the grain. I know, whoever's just popped on to be thinking, she's lost the plot, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. I'm trying to create a woolen type back, which I've done on numerous occasions. As I say, I'll try and find the link and I'll stick it in the description later on to the video where I showed how I did it and the results that I got at the end. Right. I can just paste that on. Right, where are we at next? Okay, so we're back to the beginning again. So I want to get the South American dyed grey. Okay, get my grey Corridale, then my grey Merino, and get them on here. So again, as straight up and down. And then my lighter grey, again straight up and down, and all the other grey fibres are going to be crisscrossing. Which is the silk. Put that so it goes acrosswise. Right. Let me just, where's my, there it is. Oh, this is going to be painful. I forgot I had to do it like this. Oh no, right. Oh, balls. I'm going to be for next week doing my listings, honestly. Right, so where are we at next? Right, so we've done the silk. We're going to put on the multicoloured, the monochrome coloured roving in this merino, and I'm going to spread it all out. I don't want it uniformed. I want it so when I'm drum carding it on, it'll be all crisscrossy. There we go. Right. This grey here, this little dash of humbug. We'll start over that side, and I'm just going to tease it over this way. And it's all going horizontally across, and then my Tweedy viscose like that. Split this one, ow, in half. Put my next tealy colour on. And then this softer colour. There we go. And then with this one, I'm just going to split it in half, and then make sure I get an even coverage across. So again, the fibres are going up lengthways, see, like that. And instead of it going up the drum carder, I'm laying it so it goes that way. Okay, where are we at now? So the last layer is the grey. I just need to give this another drum card. Excuse my wincing, everybody. Right, next lot, back again for this last piece. This one here. My Corridale here, Split that out so it's going up and down, so it goes on as usual. This is ideal if you don't like spinning Rolags. A lot of people don't like spinning Rolags or punies or even Rologs. But if you want that woolen effect without having to do that, then you can get it. It just takes a little bit of thinking out the box. So this is my hand dyed Tussar silk, and I'm just going to open that up and tease it and create a little cloud. And all those fibres will mix. There we go. Go in with this monochrome. Split that open. I mean, you could have the fibres go in one direction as you're doing it here, and then come in with another piece and just lay it in different directions. It'll do the exact same thing, you'll just be able to help trap in a little bit more air, as long as they're not going straight up and down. There we go, and then my viscose, which is a very bitty fibre anyway. It breaks really quite easily. It's quite a fragile one. I'll just get the card up. I've got some trilobal here with merino in it. And then split. You should have missed today and reset. Oh no. No. I'll survive. Got to keep moving it, otherwise whatever's happened to my shoulder and the trapped nerve in it, it's never going to move itself if it's still idle. It'll just seize up and get worse. So no, you're talking to someone that's got sciatica, and whenever I end up having to get my walking stick out because my sciatica is really kicked off, I end up finding a reason to go and decorate a room just to keep moving, for it to unlodge itself from being trapped. Honestly, I'm a great believer in keeping active when you're in pain. It does help, because I live with it every day, Alison. I live with chronic pain, so otherwise I'd never get anything done and I wouldn't have a business. It's not going to work itself out on its own, is it? I need to give it a bit of a helping hand. So that's what we've done. You won't notice the difference in it straight off, unless I did two of these and did one with that crisscrossing and the fibres going across it and one without it. Then maybe I'd have been able to notice it, but you'd only be able to notice it yourself. You wouldn't see on there the difference. But you do notice the actual difference in the way that the yarn spins and the end result of it. But what you've in essence done is helped create air pockets. Oh crikey. Oh, air pockets in the fibre instead of them running straight, so you can get that worsted effect. You're not aligning the fibres, you're on purpose making crisscross fibres to help trap in air. Oh. Right. This turned out quite a pretty one. It's really quite moody. I think I might do something very similar to this one for next week. There we go. So I can feel like it's, to me, I can feel, it doesn't feel the same as what it would do if it was normally the normal way that I blend my bats. But I do this now and again, blend them in this crisscross to get a woolen effect. And it saves the job of actually drum carding it twice to get that thicker, bouncy, trapped air in, which is the other alternative that you can do. You can drum card your bat twice or even 3 times, and you'll end, the more you blend it, strip it down and put it back through the drum carder, the more air you're trapping in there. Right, that'll do. Hold on a minute. No, a bit more right in there. That one there. There we go. You can see it's got a bounciness to it, but it's really quite hard to explain it, but it does bounce a lot more than it would do if it was just normal straight going through fibres. But yeah, so there is a way to achieve it. Have a go yourself at home and then see, when you see what I did, and you'll see what I mean. And if you literally just, whatever fibres you've got, weigh out 100 grams of it or more if you want to. If you've got enough for 200 grams, perfect. Then split them up into 2 piles. Drum card one as you would normally do, and then the second one, drum card it the same way as what you've done with the first one, like if you want to do ingredients or whatever it is that you want to do, but make sure at least half of those fibres are actually running across that way, horizontally across your drum carder when you're blending, and that will help trap in that air and give you more of a bouncy woolen feeling bat. And then when you spin the both of them up, you will see the difference in those fibres, and the way that they've spun feels different, the way that the look looks different. And once they've been washed, the woolen effect one will have that more bloomy look to it, which is great for doing errands.
Right, I'm going.
God, he's just given me a flaming heart attack.
I'm just going before Mr. Phil gets home.
Go on. I just gave you 3, stop being naughty. Honestly, just Anna, his soul jumped out my chest.
I'm standing there for ages.
I didn't even notice him. It's like a blinking gormagon. Right, so what am I going to do next? I need my scales out to do another 100. So anyone got any questions? Mr. Phil's off to work. He's done his son duty, well, like husbandly and son duties. He took his mum shopping this morning. I was supposed to go over and paint a bedroom, finish off doing that wall, but I just couldn't do that today. And now he's off to work. Hello, diffuser. How are you today? So I'm just going to add in, I've got a nice batch. Actually, I don't think I need all of that. I'll save some of that for a rainy day. I've got some merino there. Yeah, no, I don't want that one. What have we got in here? Have a little raid of my stash and see what I can come up with. Oh, do you know, I think I might use this one up. I've got some leftover. Some of that. I think that'll look nice with these rosy pink colours. So get that in there. That in there. So we're up to 70. I've got some faux cashmere. We're decorating Ben's bedroom just off to the farm for lunch. Catch up later. No problem, Bridie. You have a lovely afternoon. Decorating Ben's bedroom. He's not even in a bed yet. What else have we got that we can put in here? I think I'll add in... No, I don't want any more light pink. Oh, I think I'll add in some of this violet. Some of that violet I think will look nice with those plummy colours. All right, 107, that's fine. And I think I might add in some Angelina. Oh, a bit of that. Angelina? Shall I go with Angelina? This is what I do. I talk to myself quite a lot when I'm doing things like this. I just go in a little world of my own. Thinking. I know what I'll do. I'll make a tweedy bat So I've got up here some soybean fibre. So it's soybean, it's the leftover remnants from them making it into a top. So I'm going to put some of that in there. Yeah, there we go, 110. And that'll help give it a really subtle, tweedy sort of feel to that fibre. I think I might actually add a little bit more. I think that'll be quite pretty. I won't bother with any Angelina in this one. Let's see. Only small bats anyway, so I'm not needing, I don't want lots. And I think I might get away with some hand-dyed rose fibre. Could I music? You don't know what's happening here. I'm a fibre artist, love. So, yeah. If you don't understand what it is I'm doing, then watch. So I've got my soya fibre, I've got my hand-dyed rose fibres. Oh, dropped a bit. So I'm going to make a tweedy batten, and I've got some Corriedale wool. Get them on there. Some hand-dyed faux cashmere on that. Split that into bits. I've got some tweedy viscose. So it's been blended with a slight tweedy fibre in there then mixed through together with, I think it's a woodland, a white-faced woodland that they do it with, but I can't quite remember if that is actually true. Now I've got a little bit of scrappy pink in here, which I actually might put in a different direction. Might end up making this into a nice woolen one as well. And I've got a little bit of merino. Hiya Mary, love. How are you today? I'm just going to move my scales out of the way. So we've got some merino and bamboo fibre here, blended and hand dyed. So you've got these tealy colours. I'm just going to split this into three as I usually do. Then you end up with, depending on how you layer it, but you end up layering up between 12 to 16 layers of wools and fibres. Okay, so I am going to start with my faux cashmere on the bottom, and I am going to actually give this one as well a woolen effect. Then I'm going to get my wool, and I'm going to get that cardigan on as well. Okay, I think I'll put my tweedy viscose on in a minute. I think she's talking to herself. No, I'm not talking to myself. There's 24 people on here. I'm on here every week, well, every other week, and you'll find that quite a few people on here are actually my customers. So I'd appreciate if you don't be insulting. You're more than welcome to watch, ask questions, find out who I am and what I do for a living. I run a business from this studio, okay? Just ask me any questions. Just don't be rude to me. Okay, otherwise I'll block you. Right, so I've got some soybean fibre here, which has been recycled from the mills, and I'm just going to paint that straight on. For anyone that's new here, no, I'm just letting you know, I am just a person. I've had really bad, over the last month, really nasty comments on here, so I'm just giving a forewarning to everybody that's on here that I won't stand for it, and neither will any of my friends that are watching neither. So, yeah, but more than welcome to ask any questions. I am a wool dyer, fibre artist based on the Cumbrian coast in the north of England. I've been in business doing what I do for 7-8 years now. Self-taught, and I teach other people what it is that I do. What I do is blend fibres up, wools from all over the world and the UK, and then I blend them together with a bit of soy, a bit of merino, a bit of bamboo, a bit of cashmere, a bit of soya, a bit of bamboo, a bit of soy, a bit of cashmere, a bit of soy, a bit of bamboo, 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 a bit of soy, a b and I dye them and blend them with silks and plant-based fibres like rose fibre, nettle fibre, pineapple, soya, use merinos, rambouillet from all over the world. So yeah, so that's what I actually do, and I sell to people all over the world. And these people that buy them are either felting artists, people that use a spinning wheel. What am I making, Megan Evergreen? I'm making what's called an art bat. I'll show you in a second. Use spinning wheels to spin yarn. A not very old traditional ancient craft. It's been around for over a millennia. And people that spin the yarn can either use it for knitting with, crocheting, or for using on a weaving loom for making fabric and cloths. Where are we at next? Right, okay, so I've done that one and that one and that one. So I'm going to now put my faux cashmere back on here. So the faux cashmere is a man-made fibre. Tell them I'm new here, interested to see what methods are. What card are you using? I'm using a British carder from a guy called Paul Britton, based down in Shropshire on the Welsh border. I love the sounds of a spinning wheel. Thanks for the explanation. No problem, Olivia. Yeah, I started off on a drop spindle many years ago, partially down to ill health. I mean, stuck at home for a while. And that was about 8 years ago, 2016. And then what turned into a hobby turned into a business. So I'm just putting on the rest of my merino tencel, bamboo, and then adding in some of this. And while I'm adding in these little fibres, they're actually going to help create a textured feeling on the wool. So if anyone's ever had a jumper that maybe their gran or their mum's knitted when they were kids, depending on what generation you come from, and you'd get these woolen jumpers or Aran jumpers with the cable knits on, they'd have these little bits in. Well, that's a tweedy wool, like a scrap ends of wools and things like that. And it would create textures and little lumps in the wool that your mum or gran knitted with. So what I do is, well, for this one anyway, is I'm making an art bat that will have a textured feeling in there. But also I want to give it an old-fashioned woolen feeling, so I'm trying to catch all the air inside. Megan, it's alchemy when it's spun up. Yes, it is real wool, Clay Dabbler. This is a merino and it's been blended with bamboo. This is dyed Corriedale. I don't use anything. I've got a condition, Kate Aspel. I thought it looked like one of Paul's. I'm saving for an electric one. Just get his usual ones, Kate. I started off my business with a blended board and then onto his standard drum carder. I don't generally think that paying out £1,300–1,400 for an electric one, personal opinion, is really worth its while. With the electric one, you can only get it to take on so much because the motor will only have so much energy, okay? When you're using it and you crank and you're actually physically hand turning it yourself, and brushing down and packing the fibres, you're getting a different type of resistance to it. I can force and I can put more energy into it, whereas the engine on the drum card, and I've met Paul, and we've both had a conversation about this when I've met him at Will Fairs. He's a really lovely guy. But an electric drum carder, Jay, it's one of these, but has an electric, it has a motor on it. I wouldn't, if it's your first ever drum carder, just go. This is a jumbo one from Paul Britton. I did have the standard one and I had that for 5 years running this business. Not a problem. Not a problem. I was cranking off about some weeks 2 kilos of fibre every week on a standard size. Hi Joe, how are you? Anne from Bell. Hiya Anne, how you sweetie, how you doing? I'm all right, love. Trapped nerve in my shoulder, but ignore my wincing. Ignore my wincing. So no. Personal opinion, I would not get an electric carder for my very first one. And for domestic use, you might as well just spend £300, £400, £500 at the very max on something you're going to use for yourself at home. Megan, I've been doing this for about 7, 8 years, but as a business, I've been doing this for about 7 and a bit years. Bridie, all the colours blend together if you wanted all those colours. you wet felt into a piece of fabric, and I also use it for making jewellery. Yeah, people use them for doing jewellery. I've got customers that make it into like paintings on a wall just from wool. It's unbelievable the stuff that you can actually do with it. But no, Bridie, myself, there's a couple of others on here. We're big promoters of British wool, so we do try and use British wools that are available to us in this country. There's loads, and if we can't get it, we buy it from sheep breeders, from farmers in the country, or hobby breeders. Wrong way, Joe. So no, real wool. I've got a condition called fibromyalgia. It's a chronic pain condition, but if I wear clothes that are made of man-made fibres next to my skin, it creates electric static feeling on my skin, and it really, really hurts. So this is how I fell down the rabbit hole, was wanting to make and sew my own clothes. Mermaid in Fiac, she's an artist practicing her craft. She's sharing these lessons with a live chat. Oh, thank you very much, Mermaid. So yeah, I like to pass on what I do. There's a lot of us out there. It's becoming really, really quite a common thing to do now, is to blend your own fibres, dye your own fibres, spinning wool as well nowadays. It's more especially before COVID, but a lot of younger generations have fallen down the rabbit hole since COVID. But it's getting more and more popular to be self-sustainable. Make your own clothes, knit your own jumpers. Wool's a fantastic product. If you use 100% wool, I mean, it can be added with silk fibres and a couple of man-made fibres. There's one, I wonder if I've got it up here. No, I haven't. I've used it all up. There's a fibre called pearl fibre. No, it's not made from pearls, but it is a man-made synthetic fibre. But what it is good for is the fact that it actually reflects UV rays from the actual item of clothing you're wearing. Now, if you're wearing a jumper that you've knitted yourself or crocheted, or even woven the fabric to make yourself a blazer or something like that, that wool is fire retardant. It keeps you warm, but it can actually keep you cool depending on the type of wool breed that you've actually used. It only needs washed once or twice a year, your jumper, okay? An actual 100% wool jumper only needs washed once, twice a year by hand, not in a washing machine. Now, don't go all saying, oh, that's disgusting, you shouldn't do that. You should do that because it actually reduces smell as well. You can't smell any body odour. So it's odour resistant. You don't smell any body odour, no sweat or anything like that. That's why you'll see a lot of ramblers and walkers actually using and wearing wool jumpers when they're out and about, because it keeps you warm. See you later, Bride. You were going 10 minutes ago, love. It keeps you warm. It's waterproof as well to a certain extent, and it'll last you for absolutely years. So yeah, if you want to go down that route, you really want to go down the wool route. The way that we're destroying this planet with plastics at the moment, you've got to think of an alternative. Alison, I'm addicted to wool, linen and silk blends at the moment. Are you really? My favourite blend is that I've got two favourite blends that I buy in. One's a merino with flax and just a silk, and the other one is a merino with, I love soya. I can't eat soya, makes me ill, but I love working with it. You're allergic to acrylic. Well, it's not that I'm allergic to it. My body's really, really sensitive to it. I've got 100% cotton t-shirt on, but this has got a polyester and everything in it. I mean, it's a weird fish jumper. It's not cheap, but it's got, let me have a look at the label. The label in it, 100% polyester. If that was up against my skin, it would be really making my skin really tender. But I've got a long sleeve t-shirt on, so the only thing it's touching is my hands. But if that was against my actual skin, it would really be quite sore and tender to the touch. So yeah, man-made fibres I try and avoid as much as possible. I always look at the labels. It's getting a little bit better now, as in like being able to buy things actually off the shelf. But it's the static that it creates that hurts my skin. So when you've got fibromyalgia, it's one of the common traits is skin sensitivity to fibres and fabrics. Right, I think that's us just about done on this one. So this is going to be, it's not going to be as woolly as the other bat that I did, but it's not far off it. I just need to give it a quick pack down. Right, take this off. But it's going to have a tweedy effect once it's been spun up. So you'll have little pops of fibre coming in and out when you're spinning it. Little bits of texture in there. So this is what is called a bat. Also on the fibre scale, but allergies has you limited to natural plants, fibres, less banana. I too started off with wool. It's a repetitive motion action that's meditative for our brains. Yeah, it is. So that's the top coat of it, and that's the underneath. But that's the layers repeated throughout on the inside of that fibre blend as well. But there's different ways to prepare your fibre to be able to get different types of effect. But this will be a nice tweedy art bat. If it's just, I mean, you can get bats and you get art bats. Art bats are the ones that are wool and fibre blended. Usual carded bats are just one breed, so like just a merino blended on its own, or a Corriedale or a Shetland Mooret, or a Finnish wool or something like that, depending on what it is that you want from it. Each wool's got its own unique characteristics, and each wool breed can create different types of garments depending on how soft it is. So there's a scale that I don't use, I can't quite remember it, but the other one is a micron, which is easy to remember. So you get some merinos, which everyone seems to prefer, but you can get some amazingly soft wools out there that's not merino. Andean, Punta Neris, Rambouillet, obviously merino. BFL as well can be quite soft wool, but some people find it's quite itchy on the skin. I've never found that problem. Kate said, interesting point about the limitations of electric carder. You have a couple of hand powered but get problems with your arms and shoulders. Yeah, I use my crank, and I put new bats and blends up on my website every week, and roughly about 1 kilo to 1,500 kilos. Then I've got my batty clubs that I do, and then I've got my Easter bundle sets that I do, and if I get 10 orders of those, that's 3.5 kilos that I'm dyeing up and blending and probably sorting out in the space of a week. So I do that on a regular basis, and I've been doing those for 5 years, the larger packs, and then the Christmas advents are 24 days, and I have 10, 15 customers of those depending, and those are all going to get blended off. So I would rather, and I would go for, I mean, don't get me wrong, I wanted an electric one, but I would rather be in charge of this and tell it what I need from it rather than having an electric one that takes up so much room. You've got to think about the room as well. You've got to think of the space. I mean, this is a jumbo carder, and this is my work area, and I literally have to, I'm quite limited as to where I can put it. It's always going to be on the corner of somewhere with the hooks in the back, so that I can get behind it and I can pack down the fibres. With an electric one, you've got to think about where the motor is and all the bits and stuff that goes with it. But that's my personal opinion. I've only ever bought from Paul Britton. I won't buy for anyone else, partly for the cost, and the second is British made, British handcrafter, and that's it. So there you go. So there's the first one that I did with the greys underneath it in there, and that is the woolen blend. Woolen as in fibres that are going straight forward and crisscrossing across from it as well. And then this one is, it feels different. It's not as airy trapped as what the other one is, so they'll definitely make a difference when they get spun up into yarns. So I've been on here for about 45 minutes, so I think we'll pop over, oh crikey, to the other side just for a wee bit. Trying to see if I've got any hand spun wools around the place. Not offhand, and that's partly because I've been tidying up my room again. What's in this? Nope, not in that one. I've had a stock order in this week. Here we go. Here's my box with my yarns in. So this is one that I did in a chat. Oh crikey, when was this? Around about October it was. So if you can see those little bits of neps, yeah, that's your Tweedy style hand spun wool. Okay, that is a tweed. So it's got all the textures in there, all those little bits of lumps from wool ends, and that's created a Tweedy style wool. Let me just see if I can get my stand a minute so I can pop you down just for 10 minutes. All right, hold on a second. There we go. So this is all my stock. These are all my art bats that I sell on my website. Okay, so you can make different types of yarns or art. There's these ones called art yarns, and they've got wool locks put in there, and they're all spun up on the wheel. Okay, this one as well. This is an art yarn, but it's got beads in it. What would you use it for? Well, if you're into doing crochet, if you can do crochet or you like to do really weird, funky knitting, you can knit and crochet with these. But a lot of people that I sell it to, they use it in their felting if they're making gnomes and fairies and stuff like that. What else can you use it for? You can use it for weaving with. I tend to use my art yarns when I'm weaving on my loom. You can't really see it at the moment because she's covered over. Oh, but that's my loom. It's 46-year-old floor loom, so I've got this big bench underneath, but it works with treadles down the bottom, and it's a British made four shaft floor loom. So yeah, for weaving with, that's what I tend to use my hand spun wools on. That's what I spin wool for. What else have we got in here? There's a nice one. I keep meaning to put these back on the shop. So those ones here. There you go. Got these lumpy bits. So you get, there's like a select of people that like to do art weaving. So it's like using a big frame, and you can do these massive tapestry weaves. And they like to use different types of fantastic art yarn fibres, or even really, really thick fibres. Like these ones that are all lumpy and bumpy and really soft and squishy. Like little clouds. You've got these shells here. There's some more yarn that's been spun up, and it knits exactly like the stuff that you get at the shop. The only difference is it's artisan and it's homemade. Okay, so that's the difference in it. This one, what have I done this with? It's got Manx Lohan, which is a rare breed from the Isle of Man. It's got Sari silk, which is this fibre that's left over from the silk mills. What's our name, sister? I don't know who you mean, who's saying sorry. It's got merino with a glittery fibre in there as well. But yeah, you can use that for knitting with and crocheting. What else have I done? This has been made from my own hand spun wool. This is really versatile, and it's not just that, you're actually in charge of it as well. Great for texture and knitting bags. Yeah, if you're into doing knitted bags and you want to do felting, that sort of thing. But I use it in my weaving as well. So that's a woven shawl I did years and years ago when I had a rigid heddle loom before I got my floor loom. Crochet scarves, hand spun. This one here. So this is all made out of hand spun wool, and it's been crocheted and dyed. So yeah, it's really, really versatile. It's just exactly the same as buying it out the shop. The only difference is the pride in making it and doing it yourself, and it's a really old ancient tradition. You can spin silk, you can spin flax or linen, what turns into linen, and spin with that, and you can use it for sewing with. You can, because that's how it used to always be made years and years and years ago. Your sewing threads and your silk threads that you use for embroidery were all hand spun on a spindle. Beautiful yarns. I know, do you know, Mary, I've got a lady down in Austin, in Texas, and she messaged me the other day. She goes, when are you putting art yarns back on the shop? I was like, I keep forgetting to put them on, and they're all here. I just keep forgetting to stick them on. So I stick beads, wooden beads in there. What else do I put in mine? Oh, all sorts of stuff. What else have we got? A spin with locks. That's scrap ends with locks in there. Bumblebee. And then there's other bits in here. This one's a really pretty one. This one has got 2 British breeds in there, Cotswold and Wensleydale. And it's got some silk and oil in it and some pearl fibre, that UV fibre that I was on about. So the pearl fibre is UV resistant, and it's actually deodorizing as well. But they make the most beautiful shawls and scarves, especially if you don't have a lot of it. But yeah, spinning wheel, or you can start off on a Turkish spindle or a normal spindle. Let me see if I can, I've always got something around here somewhere. Right, 1 second. That one up there. Right, so this is a traditional design Turkish spindle. I've got them in 3D printed. I print them off in 3D for cheaper, budget friendly. And you literally pull out the shaft on the arms, and then when you finish with it, you can walk around with it. And that's traditionally where they come from the nomadic tribes. They're called Turkish spindle, but they're actually from nomadic tribes, as we used to all roam around for work or for trade and things like that. We've been doing it for centuries. We've just forgotten what to do. And you literally just spin your fibre. You do a 1/2 inch knot at the top of there. This is made from a black rosewood. Oh, spun it the wrong way around. Right, on a second. There we go. And you keep spinning it until the energy goes all the way up the yarn. A minute. He's not in the mood for playing today. There we go. And then you undo your, strap it around your fingers like a butterfly. Come back down, take it off the shaft if it wants to. It's been sat on the shelf for ages. I don't often get the chance to do much spindling. And then up and around, up and around, and then over, and then you create these little turtles on the top, and then you start all over again with a little 1/2 inch on the top of it. I don't know why that wheel's turned in the opposite direction. It's not my natural way to spin on myself. Not with a spindle, I'm not quite sure why. It's in the wrong direction. So yeah, so you can twist those fibres. See how they're twisting with the white in there? And the tighter the spin is, the more energy that's going into it, you get a finer yarn, or the thinner you can get the yarn. And the weight depends as well. The weight of a spindle can depend on how thin or fat your yarn's going to be as well. So yeah, that's what I do. You get loads of different types of spindles. There's one called a bogwaller, which has been around for about 3,500 years, and it was found in South America. And they used to spin grass fibre, grass reeds and stuff like that, strip them right down into the pulp inside where you get the strands. That's how rose fibre and nettle fibre is made as well, but done on mass scale, but you can do it yourself at home. You get these ones, it's an art yarn, drop spindle. Not really, it was given to me as a gift for a Christmas a couple of years ago, but I've never used it. It's too heavy for me, and it comes with these little bobbins on it as well, which you could probably put straight onto your spinning wheel if you could get them to spin on there. So yeah, that's generally what it is that you're doing from all of these on here, and these are called art bats. Loads of different types of fibres in there, all hand dyed by me and then blended up on my drum carder. Anyone got any questions before I go? Because I've been in here for about 55 minutes and my arm's killing me. I've got some knitting to get on with. I've got to get the dogs' dinner done. They want liver today, so I need to go and cook them up their dinner. Yes, my dogs are spoilt. They do get cooked dinners. Yeah, they do. I've been making up some roll counters for going to Edinburgh at the end of April. So I've been making up some more of these, some funky ones. I've got some really cool bread ones, but I've got some little crystal ball fairy charm ones. So I'll do a couple of these and get them on the website for next week for doing your roll counting. And I'll print off some more instruction sheets for those that have never used them before. Like fun faff, goldfish in a tank, in a bag. And I've got 2 of those. Thought they were dead sweet. Yellow. They look more like a shark, to be fair, but they're supposed to be goldfish. So those will be good. I'll stick a couple of those on the shop, depending on how much supplies I've got going. And I've got some bread and cake ones as well, and deals. Enjoy your day and thank you for your live. Oh, thank you very much for joining me, Anne. You take care of yourself and I'll speak to you soon. You catch up with you soon. See you later, Mary. Take care of yourself and everybody else. Thank you very much for coming over and not giving me a load of abuse today. That was quite novel. Thank you very much. Take care. Alison, yes, goldfish. They're really, really sweet. I'm going to do some stitch markers with those ones if I can. Anyway, I'm going to get going. Take care of yourselves and I will see you over on Instagram on Saturday, the usual time, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, blame somebody else. I always do.